This episode of The Fresh Cred is the final installment in our food service series, Fresh Insights, The Future of Food Service, brought to you by Kern Ridge Growers, Wiggins Farms, Sunfed, and IFCO. Today, we're joined by Julie Krivanek, president of Krivanek Consulting and an expert in leadership coaching, succession planning, and executive development for the produce industry. In this episode, Julie shares key strategies for cultivating leadership, building strong corporate cultures, and preparing businesses for the future. Enjoy.
Welcome to beautiful Monterey, California, here at the IFPA Food Service Conference, FSC, as the kids like to say in an acronym form, right?
That's what kids are. It's all of the rage.
That's all the rage. They're busting out the acronyms every day out here. So, and we're joined, of course, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Ed Bertod. Ed, good
Thanks
to see
for having me.
You're looking so nice. Your hair's well coaffed.
Yeah.
And, you look cute.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
Oh, and we have another cutie.
You know.
We have Julie Krivanek.
Another cutie.
Coiffed up, ready to go from Krivanek Consulting. And do you have like an 800 number or something people could call? No? Oh, you don't? Well, you should get one of those.
No, I don't want one.
You could read tarot cards and stuff like that. You don't think that's a good part of your consulting plan? That's not what you want to do?
Yeah,
with
not
your,
so much.
Okay, no 800 number.
Yeah,
but
no.
Krivanek Consulting, they do excellent work. So we're going to start at the top, Julie. We're going to start at the halls and the area where you spend the majority of your time over quite a few years. You've been kicking around the C-suite, correct?
Yeah, just crossed 30.
30 years.
In my business. Yeah.
My goodness.
Congratulations.
So that's your business is 30 years. You started your business 30 years ago.
I did.
Goodness gracious.
I did. Yeah, I did. And I started, I was an executive in the energy industry.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
And
I thought 30 years was like your entire.
No, and then I hopped over, got my master's degree, and then did executive coaching for Marshall Goldsmith, the coach of the planet, for like 3-4 years. And I worked only with technology companies, Oracle and HP and Microsoft. So that was my start in my own business. And then I got the fortune of all fortunes.
Yeah.
Serendipity to get hired by United. And I mean, that was it. I, like all the rest of it, I absolutely fell in love with produce. I thought, this is where I need to be. And then spent the rest of that time up until now doing strategic planning for businesses. So that was a wonderful part. And then I shifted again post-pandemic and am so happy. I did. I had a couple of businesses that I sold, and the question I asked myself was, if you don't have to work for money, why are you working? Mm-hmm. What are you working for? And I walked around thinking of that deeply. So how can I provide value? How can I be of service? It was really deeper ways of working with people than just on the, where's your business headed and all that stuff. So it's been absolutely wonderful. And executive development and then succession planning, this industry wanted it. I'm booked like crazy. I feel, gratified, really, to be able to be of service in that way. So it's terrific.
Well,
yeah, it's great.
So you and I got to know each other in '99 via United as the leadership program.
Yes.
And so I know, just like I say, over the years talking with you and working with you on a couple of different projects. So you're very familiar with the C-suite.
Oh, yeah.
And so just curious, the C-suite, and I can only imagine you weren't involved as much, I'm sure, 30 to plus years ago with the C-suite. You were kind of working for them at that time, but now that you've been in the office in the last, call it 10 to 15 years, right? What have you seen? And then let's, specifically to produce, not necessarily.
Right.
I mean, you can, if there's other industries that are applicable, that's good. But of the produce industry, the executive, the C-suite, how was it 10 or 15 years ago, and how do you see it different now?
Yeah. Well, I will start out with a really large umbrella about what's the C-suite supposed to be doing.
Okay.
It's only two things: grow the business, nurture the talent. That's it. And then all kinds of little things cascade from that. So I take a look, I thought about this a lot in terms of what were executives doing, that long ago. 92% of the businesses in our industry at that time were privately held family businesses. They were mostly U.S.-centric, I would say, right? Product-centric, so maybe they had sort of one or two products.
Yeah.
Seasonal, okay? So the executives then were very today thinkers, right? How am I going to make money today? Did the truck get there on time? They were very focused on today, and as a result, the executives were very roll up your sleeves, what's going on, how's it happen? They were very in that moment.
Tactical.
Very, very tactical, yeah. So what's happened, the seasonal guys had to become year-round. The U.S. guys had to become global. So what's happened, which is the normal trajectory of growth, the business has grown. We have looked at opportunities. This is an industry that has more amazing entrepreneurs than any that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. So that's sort of the stretch, and then the new guys that came to sit at our table were the consumers. 15 years ago, we never thought about the consumers. We were B2B.
Yeah.
Now we are absolutely driven by what the consumers want. So if I look at, those two buckets, grow the business, nurture the people, we get an A in grow the business.
Okay.
We get a D in nurture the people. It's not happening.
Okay, but 15 years ago, were they getting an A in nurturing the talent?
No.
Okay.
We never. That's
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, plain and simple, that's just not us. So is that good? Well, it's outdated for anybody.
Yeah.
15 years to now. It's outdated. That can't last. I think the executive of tomorrow, right, is going to fall short if they do not look at both of those aspects.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming at us, and it's not just coming at us, it's already here. 5 generations. We are working with 5 generations at work. The old guys were boomers leading boomers. So we had the same kind of mindset.
Right.
That is not the case anymore. You've got 5 generations, and they are all distinctly different. So if you look at nurture the talent with somebody that's a legacy person, it's a very different conversation than nurture the talent when it's a 25-year-old that's out of college. It's very different needs, aspirations. The other thing that's coming at us, is really the fourth, what are they calling it? The fourth industrial revolution, which is AI.
Right.
And this industry are consistently sort of low adopters of new things. If you look at the whole spectrum of industry, we're kind of low on the totem pole, but we get yanked into higher things because our customers want it, right? So Walmart says you now have to pay attention to sustainability or whatever. So, I look at the future and I think, okay, so I love that there's a concept called the Goldilocks zone. And the Goldilocks zone says, remember Goldilocks?
I do remember Goldilocks.
Okay.
Porridge, right?
So,
Yeah.
Too cold, too hot.
Right.
This is just right. The bed's too hard, the bed's too soft, this is just right. So I think simplistically of the executives going forward, and I think you better find the Goldilocks zone, because guess what? We haven't found it yet. We have been growing the business, and the people part of it, the people, the talent, the culture, have not been as attended. So that's what needs to happen. It's going to be more challenging. You got more things to grapple with, but you better find that middle balance.
So from that, okay, and you 10 or 15 years ago weren't great at the talent development piece, right? And developing what kind of things can executives be doing? Is it more exposure to events like this? Is it education? What is it they need to do? What is it that you would recommend?
That's
for
a
executives?
tangible for
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I would look at is what's their training and development budget.
Okay.
maybe $100,000, maybe whatever. But you got to do everything. You've got to mentor. You've got to talk to people very specifically and sort of intimately about what their goals are and how you can help them progress. You've got to send them to training and development opportunities. This is a great opportunity. This isn't a one and done. They have to be a part of the industry. They need to be exposed to things that they may not be exposed to. So maybe you have some temporary task force projects that you want to take the high potential people and say, you know what, you don't know much about this, but you're a smart person. Go work with these guys. So it's stretching, it's challenging, but that one-on-one conversation, you just can't overlook it. It's absolutely huge. So develop, create milestones, get interested and involved with them, right? What can I help you be? Especially the younger ones that are coming in. They are used to helicopter parents. They're used to people saying, good job, good job. They're a different planet than the rest of us. So they want that constant feedback and conversation. And if they don't have that, they don't feel like they're moving ahead. They want, I was reading a Wall Street Journal article that was, what do the new generation want? They want leadership development. So a lot of things look like leadership development, right? Like the list that I just gave you.
So that's what.
That's our number one.
But I know, but the article you read, that's what young people are looking for is leadership development. That's kind of an ask on their side.
Yes.
Really?
I want to be developed. I want to be going someplace. I want
But to be
learn.
leaders, is that right? That honestly I'm shocked at that.
Absolutely. It's kind of interesting, though. If you frame things in terms of your leadership development, then it starts to connect the dots for them.
Right.
This is leadership development. I'm going to talk to you once a month for a half hour about how you're doing.
So you have to
That's
spell it out.
leadership. Yeah, but people, then you keep saying, this is leadership development.
Yeah.
Time with me is. I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah. That makes. Again, it makes sense what you're saying, right? Because realistically, as you progress up, right, whatever level you're at in an organization, at some point, to become a leader, you have to begin to let go of the things that tactically, the operational stuff that you were good at or what got you there. You've got to begin to let go and then start to train up that next group to do those things. And to be a leader is ultimately to not do the job, but then to train and get people to do the job and lead them in the correct direction. And realistically, you do it from the top office all the way through the organization.
Absolutely.
You just, it's like what was that they used to, it's Amway. It's like,
pyramid.
It's a pyramid
It's
effect.
a pyramid.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the notion of continual learning. Right. You need to learn all different kinds of things. And, people talk about delegating. Oh, okay. Don't just give them the junk.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. You tote the boxes. It's
Wow. She found a.
I found a new word. Yeah.
She found a place to insert it.
I like that too. So it's not just that, because that's kind of it's I want to teach you how to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So come on, I'm going to teach you this. I think it's deeper. Right, it's deeper.
Yeah, and and again, I personal experience facing challenges in that. That's why I say, for people to say, or for young people to say they want leadership.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me, because when you start to talk about that and what that entails, I don't always get I don't think. It's surprising to me, because with that, people have a hard time letting go of stuff that's made them successful or accomplished, if you will, in whatever. Right. And so
right.
I find, like I say, from a personal experience, with folks, is this resistance to let go. And my conversation is always, look, you can't scale.
That's right.
You're only this if you're going to do all besides toting the boxes, if you're not willing to let go of the things that are important.
Yes.
And let somebody else do these important things and trust that they're going to do it.
Yes.
You will be locked into whatever your capacity is, and you can't go past that.
You can't get past.
And again, so I find, when leadership really becomes a thing, not everybody's, what I'm saying? It's maybe they're saying they want it, but I'm not sure when they're faced with the reality of being put in that position that they necessarily want to grab those reins.
But if you've had developmental opportunities with people that work for you, and you know what's in their head, and you know what their aspirations are, now you can start saying, okay, I know what you want. I know your vision for your career. I'm going to give you a piece of it.
Yep.
Or I'm going to expose you to something. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But guess what? It's a piece of this journey. Mm-hmm. And then people can have a context that's deeper than just, here, go do that. And it becomes very meaningful to take these little bites and bites and bites and bites that eventually add up to something that's significant, you know.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I mean, and certainly the C-suite, the executive office, there's changes coming. I mean, it's got to be. There's changes. I've witnessed, over the course of my career, the changes of all leadership throughout the organization, not just the C-suite.
Yes.
But yeah, they're faced with environmental, social, lots of things that 20 years ago weren't on the radar.
Absolutely.
And now for the people coming up, those things are important. Not only is it important to your consumer, but the people that work for you, they, like you said, they want to work for a place that has a purpose.
Yes.
Right? They want to have a mission. And it can't be, in the 80s, for me, it was all about money.
Yeah.
And that's the way everything was ran. Now, not that people don't, money's not relevant. They want to be able to live, but at the end of the day, they're really driven by things that are way outside of money.
Meaningful experiences, learning, opportunity. Money's the easy part.
Yeah. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, and so, do you see us as an industry? Are we moving there, or do you think we're not?
Okay, so are we getting there in terms of what? What's there?
Well, what I mean is, are we progressing? So you said, making money. The executives are good at that. Development. Do you sense the industry is moving quickly into that? Are you seeing the executives themselves get on board and moving in that way?
Yeah. Okay, so I would say this. Go back to Goldilocks. Yes, and absolutely not. Okay.
All right.
Goldilocks being the just right.
The just right.
Okay. Yeah.
The just right. So you have, this isn't an age conversation, but it's oftentimes an experience and what you've seen in the industry conversation. So you have people that are in that grow the business, grow the business, grow the business. And if you've got something going on, it's like, you're annoying to me. So let's go back to growing the business. You have other people in the executive group that are, how do I say this, so overly sensitive to humans, right? Are you okay? I heard your child was sick. Susie's getting a divorce. Be nice to her. I mean, they have like all that, right? By the way, that's men and women, right? Some of them are like so much in that. And you end up with sort of the legacy companies, I would say, oftentimes being run by the people that were the grow the business people who are now in their 70s plus. I have clients that are 80, right? They're plus, and they cannot get used to what the younger generations are asking for and hoping for, nor how you literally build a business that's kind of more holistic, right? It's not just that drive, but it's also you're important.
But are you saying that they're overly empathetic because
they're wired that way as a human?
Okay. And mistake it for leadership development?
Oh, yeah, mistake it for, like, the business. It's like you can be, but once again, your bag of tricks better be not just one bag of the same thing or the other. You need to have a really good balance and blend to be in that just right spot. So, okay, so I find the legacy businesses have more the sort of the hard-ass old produce ways of doing things.
Yeah.
So I had a company that I worked for, and the guy that was the GM was yelling at somebody. I was in the plant walking around doing whatever. He was yelling at something. I said, "You can't do that. You can't F-bomb people and yell at them and just scream at them." He said, "What, are you kidding me? He said, the guy I used to work with, when I did something wrong, he used to throw produce at me. He said, how'd you like to get hit in the head by a pineapple? I said, well, maybe that's not so bad. I thought, oh, my God, that wasn't
take the
that long
F-bomb.
ago. Yeah, that's exactly. Get hit in the head by a bunch of bananas. I thought, I got nothing to say. Yeah. Anyway, it's different. It's different. And as we grow and add more value to the industry, we have to move and flex and take what's coming and work with it instead of saying, well, that's how it, that's not
That's how
it
we
should
used to
be.
do it. And yeah, we got to move on.
No
and so,
can do. Yeah.
well, and I mean, I do get a sense you're fully booked because so obviously that's an indication that there's a lot of companies that recognize,
Yeah.
They need it. So that's a good sign. But something I want to get to, before we get too far along is succession planning.
Yeah.
Which is the C-suites now. We're transitioning from, either older generations
Yeah.
or whatever. How is that going? How are we set up as an industry with succession planning?
So I would talk to you from first something that I've noticed, and then I talk to you from two sides. One is the company side, the other is the people side. Okay, so if I look at, the last 5 years I've paid attention to which businesses and functions seem to be growing, right? Guess what they are? Marketing, grow the business, because you hope it ends up in a PO someplace.
Right.
The next is hiring new business development, right? Because a lot of companies have hit the runway, or financially, or whatever. So new business development. But you know what the third, not in this logical order, but do you know what the third the third highest growth business is?
Third highest growth business.
Third highest growth.
Do-do-do-do.
What, Jeopardy?
Oh, Ed.
Is it a lightning round?
I'm going to say, marketing, social media is in that, so it's not going to be social media. It's going to be feel good at work. Oh, work from home.
No.
Figured out how to make people work from home.
Executive search.
Really?
Executive search. We should have gone into that. Executive search. Okay, so now go back to your question. How are produce companies doing? If you're hiring and spending a lot of money with executive search firm, no offense to them, they're my friends, but what does that tell you? How are they doing with...
You didn't plan too well for you. Man, why didn't I see that?
I know, that was... Yeah.
That was you.
That was like teed up.
She set that up.
No, I teed it up and you just...
Boy, we showed our...
Yeah,
You did. I was letting you...
Okay, you guessed Jeopardy because she sang the song.
I was
That
singing
was
to you,
complete.
but,
Jesus.
yeah, but if you really think about that, I thought, shit, okay, that's grow the business.
Yeah.
Marketing. Can I swear on that?
Sure.
Oh,
okay.
hell
Well,
yeah.
all right. Well, okay. All right. Well, I just didn't know.
We're
All right.
cable.
So that's
You could drop F-bombs if you want to.
Well,
It's,
you never know. Okay. So that's marketing, grow the business, right? That's absolutely new business development, because the people that mostly work in sales, they're running the cash register. They're not out there banging on doors. So those two make logical sense with that big bucket of grow the business and nurture the talent. Guess what? Ixnay on nurture the talent. We have high-level positions that come open all the time, and we are stealing one from the next. We are absolutely, or stealing from other industries.
So we're
in.
deficient in the industry at that level.
The human being development, preparedness, we are so deficient.
You think that's related to the fact that so much of this business was built by families?
Yes.
And the traditional transition was like, a monarchy, right?
Yes.
It basically was,
Yes.
hey, your firstborn son, therefore
Heir
you're taking
apparent.
over the business.
Yes.
Yeah, the heir apparent program. And
Yes.
So you think that's really what's created that?
I think a lot of it is. And I think a lot of it is, again, the either don't know or don't want to know that really developing the people is a huge piece of it. Right? It's like they're not mean-spirited. It's, I may not be good at it. I don't see it's important. I already got my kid coming up. That's all things fine. But you know what's happening now? The kids that they thought were coming up, they don't want in this business.
Yeah, that's what
so
I
now
think.
what?
Yeah, that's where I think the gap is
Because their
coming.
parents made it look so appealing.
Hard. Yeah.
Well,
they saw them working.
And you've got people that were getting hit in the head with a pineapple.
Yeah.
That you're now asking to train this empathy feel-good stuff.
Sit down and say, what do you want to
Yeah,
be
it's like,
with
what?
your career?
I wasn't trained.
No.
I mean, so they don't have the
16-hour
skill.
days?
They don't have the
Sure, let
skill
me sign
set
up
of
for that.
right? Yeah, I mean,
They
it's
don't. And it's too
Like,
touchy. Do you know what I mean? It's too like touchy-feely. Like, what do you want to be? Where do you want to go? I'll help you get there. You know, some people are not geared toward that. However, the workforce requires that we're geared toward that. The other thing that we're not exactly.
good news was I'm geared towards that.
Oh, you're geared for-
well,
oh, yeah.
I'm just cut
Totally
out.
geared.
I'm cut out for the feel good part. So.
I've worked with you. Yeah. But the other part that I think is bewildering, I mean, I'm off on a tangent, is culture. You know, that's the other thing of, these softer areas. What is it like to work here?
Yeah.
And we have, once again, grow the business cultures.
Yeah.
Okay? Take that phone call at 3 a.m. And, younger generations are like, man, I'm going camping for the weekend. You want me there on Saturday?
But we used to call that entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, we still have it.
Okay, we never called camping entrepreneurial spirit.
No.
Well, we didn't call
that
camping
having to take the 3 a.m. call.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
You own the business whether you do or not.
Yeah,
And,
and
that's
you
part of being
own it, but yeah, for sure. That's just a good word we put around to make everybody feel good about taking calls at 3 a.m.
That's kind of.
You think so?
Kind of. Okay. So that's sort of, that piece of it. But then I also look at, so are businesses generally prepared? I honestly say no. Otherwise, we wouldn't be constantly churning and hiring at the C-suite and above, and CEO. If you're hiring for a CEO, you have not done your job. Shame on you, Mr. and Ms. Company. You have not done your job. If the people that report to you don't have the capability to get there with extra, coaching, attention, whatever, well, then find people that are.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, this isn't rocket science. Good.
Well, the part of the feel-good generation is waving the white flag. I think he needs to have some lunch and some alone time. So that being our producer, so we're going to have to get close to this. So we've
I think he calls it work-life balance.
yeah, he wants to. He's been doing this for I don't know like 30 minutes, and,
And it's too much.
He's freaking wore out. He's afraid that this is going to go
Break
too
time.
long. So in the
Take a
In
nappy,
closing.
take a
well,
nappy nap.
we're not going to close quite that abruptly, but yeah, I do want just real quick to just speak to acquisitions.
Yeah.
So we talk about the C-suite, the changes that kind of you see on that
Yes.
piece.
Yeah.
We touched a little bit on succession planning.
Yes.
Now, there's a lot of acquisitions going on. We talked to Steve while we've been at the show, and and what he's doing in the acquisition space and how that's going. How do you see, how prepared are these companies at that level, or are they at all prepared?
It's a mixed bag. So is there more activity than there was 15 years ago? Oh, times 100. Absolutely more activity. Okay. So what are the dynamics pressing that? Frankly, I sold a business last year, negotiated the sale, and I said, "You're young. What do you do?" And he said, "I don't want the risk.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't want the risk." For some, they've run out of the runway of really opportunities that are grow the business kind of opportunities. For some, they get an offer to monetize all those years of hard work.
Yep.
And they say, okay, I'm in. So there's a combination of factors that's leading to that. A huge factor is new money has come into our industry. Produce is very sexy. You've got people who are, not used to health, wellness, fresh food, all the things that we so beautifully stand for, saying that's attractive. I'd like to invest in that. We're a bit conservative. We're a bit slow growth. People are going to eat. It's not like we're going to go,
Recession-proof?
Recession resistant.
Resistant.
Yeah, not.
I like that
not-
too.
Yeah, not
proof, but yeah, I agree.
So it's a wonderful place to invest your money, and these businesses are filled with passionate, hardworking, really sharp people.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll give you my money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's moving things in that direction. Is it good or bad? It depends on who you ask. I mean, there are downsides to the people, the upper people go out and buy a boat and a new summer home. So yay, you deserved it. You worked hard for
Yeah.
it. but there are people that are sort of lower down, middle and lower down, that are caught up in the dynamic of change that need to be really helped and included and involved and engaged, and weekly conversations, I mean, whatever it might be. Transition teams. The biggest for decades, the biggest deal breaker is, oddly, it's not money, it's not this or that, it's culture. So if you end up, I mean, it's like a marriage. If you're sort of way over this way and somebody's way over this way, you're just going to do this constantly. You'll power struggle. Businesses that are acquired, people don't get it as much as they should. In other words, it's typically not a deal breaker, but you got to make sure you've got a happy marriage and that the culture has similarities. Look at PMA and United. The timing was perfect.
Right.
Couldn't have been more perfect because
Right.
we've talked about it forever. But you have people who love the industry, who see a future, who we belong to both organizations, right? So it was kind of a happy marriage.
Culturally,
with
they
that.
were kind of
They were
somewhat aligned. I mean, they had their differences, but at
not
the end of the day,
awful,
right.
Not awful. So I thought, look at Amazon and Whole Foods. That's still,
Still trying to get figured out.
why? Because their cultures are so different. So that's
Well, good stuff, Julie. Thank you very much. Certainly, I mean, the C-suite office, you distilled it down. There's two buckets: make
Yeah.
money and train
Take
the
care
people.
of the people.
Take care of the
And
people,
if you
train
need
the
to talk to
people,
Julie,
right?
make sure you book her early because she's booked.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
Make sure you get on the
booking.
phone.
Yeah.
But
Taking
but the
appointments for 2030.
Yeah. Okay, maybe. She's like, maybe don't go out that far. Hold on there, cowboy. But anyway, C-suite executives, we touched on the succession planning, and certainly as an industry, it looks like we're leaning into it, working towards that. And then ultimately, all the acquisitions going out. It's not Goldilocks yet. There's good, there's bad, but it is what it is in terms of evolution. So,
Exactly.
really appreciate you coming in,
Yeah,
breaking it down for us. We know you're not an easy lady to get on and do something like this. So really thank you for taking the time. And
Nice to see you guys.
it's always good to see you. Ed, it's a pleasure to see you each time. Thank you for sitting in and
I
joining us.
can never
here.
see you enough.
Oh,
Oh, that's true.
God knows that's true. So I feel the same way, baby. Anyway,
That's cute.
so enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Be safe getting back to Denver.
Yeah.
And everybody out there, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. And guys, we are out. See y'all. We're out.
Thank you for joining us for this insightful conversation on the Fresh Cred. We'd like to extend a special thank you to our episode partners, Kern Ridge Growers, Wiggins Farms, Sunfed, IFCO, and the International Fresh Produce Association for their incredible support throughout the series. We truly appreciate you for tuning in and engaging with us. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, and visit our website at thefreshcred.com for more exclusive content and upcoming episodes. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to bringing you more fresh perspectives in the produce industry soon.